WASD. Behold, it's like the best tattoo in the world. Look at it, it's mesmerizing. Thanks to Crunchyroll, they've sponsored this episode. It's like the largest, most diverse collection of anime I've heard on the internet. And stuff really usually shows up here like an hour after it's aired with professional subs. Professional freaking subs. And we've got a month free for you guys with no ads and full HD. Just go to crunchyroll.com/tech-syndicate. And Crunchyroll is really, it's probably one of my favorite platforms for watching anime right now. What are you watching?
Polar Bear's Cafe, and it is adorable. So if you like cute
But
things.
it's also kind of random and silly. It's funny.
It is silly.
I find it funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Mostly all animal characters, but they're realistically drawn. They're not like, like Pokemon and stuff like that. I like the art style of it a lot.
I'm currently catching up on Mushishi, and that is sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. There's not a lot of action sequences and stuff. It's a lot of thinking going on in this one. Really, really good storytelling. Yeah, it's just really good. If you guys like stuff that'll make you think a little bit, go and watch Mushishi. And if you're looking for some huge series to get into, maybe Hunter x Hunter would be a good way to go.
Or just click on something random and find something new.
Want to know what you guys are watching on Crunchyroll? Let us know in the comments. And maybe you guys will recommend something that I can watch. Thanks to Crunchyroll. Now let's get down to business. Last week we asked you guys, what is the most mind-bending game out there? What was the biggest mind fuck or made your mind explode while you were playing a game? PC game, that is. So we went through onto the forum, and I think a lot of people said the Stanley Parable. And I didn't play the Stanley Parable, so I feel like an idiot.
I didn't play it either. I've been wanting to.
So he played it a little bit.
I did. I felt it was one of those games that just never ended. And that was kind of the point, was that you just kept kind of going in circles. You take a pathway through something and you ended back at the beginning, and the whole game just kind of... You were trapped in this endless loop of... It was almost like Groundhog's Day. It was an interesting game. I wouldn't say it was extremely mind-bending, but it definitely gives you a headache after a while.
See, the thing about a lot of these mind-bending games, I'll say right now, is that part of the reason why they're so mind-bending is because they're either a paradox, or there's a huge plot twist, or there's something that just makes your brain go, "What? I did not see that coming." So we're not going to give away any spoilers, but we'll try to give you a little bit of an idea.
Planescape Torment was probably... It's got a really interesting story. You start out, you wake up in the morgue, and you're just a guy who wakes up out of the morgue, and you're talking to a skull. It sounds kind of crazy, but as the game kind of progresses, I mean, the whole thing takes place in the Planescape universe, so if you're familiar with that. I won't go into too much because it gets very complicated and really, really twisted. There's a lot of time-related stuff that goes on. I mean, the whole game is pretty...
When's the new one going to be out? Ever?
It's funny you ask that. I just got a mention in an email the other day. I believe the
Kickstarter update.
Closed beta is now out on Steam, where you can pre-order it. It's on Greenlight or
excellent
pre-release on Steam, which is pretty awesome.
All right, next up, your choice.
Myst. I think it's kind of obvious. I feel like most people played Myst, and the reason why it's just mind-bending. I mean, it's Myst. What I really like about Myst is that it just throws you into the world and tells you nothing. Like, you have no idea, and you just have to figure things out and try to think outside of the box to piece things together, and it's so weird, and the atmosphere is...
There's no arrows on the screen telling you where to go?
Well, you don't
rank up?
No. No, there's no cookie crumbs.
Sergeant, Master Sergeant.
There's nothing. You're just thrown into this world. It's like if you were to be thrown into a world and there was no other human on the planet, but there was all this stuff, and you're just like, what am I doing here?
Have you played Real Myst?
I have it downloaded, but I haven't played it.
It's the FPS version of that?
Yeah, because the original game, you kind of had a grid pattern where you can wander around and shift around, but you were kind of locked into this map that you kind of process it. But Real Myst,
you just like run around.
Which is actually, I think, more difficult to play than the original.
Yeah, probably.
Because now you can go places where you normally wouldn't, and things that you'd normally never have access to. Like, is something over here? No, it's just have fun running through the
you
grass.
end up like overthinking things. And
I put it down after like 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't.
I love those kinds
because
of
I remember the
games.
game and trying to go back through and play it when you're just running around. I was like, but it's fun. I highly recommend it.
I wanted to say games like, a number of those games, they'll get a mention, but I don't think they're as mind-bending. They're more suspenseful. And then games like Amnesia, I wanted to say that too. But those games are really just kind of scary, and they don't really bend my brain as much.
Yeah, no.
as a game like this. This is Anti-Chamber. Anti-Chamber, imagine if an M.C. Escher painting came to life.
We streamed like almost a full playthrough of this.
Yeah, Anti-Chamber is weird because you'll go around these corners, you'll think you've gone in a full circle, and then you'll get back around and you'll be like, wait a minute, this is a different room now.
Yeah, the game like shifts as you move.
And sometimes you'll be going down a staircase, and then all of a sudden you're on like you're no longer, horizontal. Now you're walking on the wall, but now all of a sudden the wall is the floor. And then you walk into one room, and some rooms have more than 4 90-degree angles, and you're like, what is going on here? This game messes with your brain a lot. The puzzles do make sense, but sometimes it's almost like they're so convoluted that I almost found myself just wandering in circles going, what on earth am I doing? And then finally when it clicks, you're like, that is just evil. So, yeah, some of the puzzles in this game are pretty ridiculous. And if you want your brain to hurt a little bit, I would recommend checking out Anti-Chamber. Next up on the list.
I said Half-Life. You start out, and when the first time you've ever played the game, the whole world kind of opens up to you, but then there's little things you're just like, wait, what's that? Why is that guy over behind the glass? You see the G-Man in the first 20 seconds, but you don't really realize it until you play through it again. But then you get through, all through Half-Life. If you play Blue Shift or Opposing Force, or you get into Half-Life 2, suddenly this whole story just keeps getting years. Half-Life 3, I don't think it's ever going to exist.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think at this point, the mind-bending element of it is that it's never going to exist. And we're all just like, and it's driving everyone crazy.
But maybe that's what they want you to think.
So you think Valve is...
And then it comes out.
There you go.
And that'll be the mindfuck?
Yeah.
All of the above. This game, even now, this game still withstands the test of time. I mean, look what they did with Black Mesa. It's effectively the exact same game. The new engine, but otherwise, it's still fun to play even now.
All right, next up on the list.
The Dig, one of my childhood favorites. Absolutely love this game. It is a puzzle-based click adventure, and the puzzles are very difficult. Like, good luck getting through without a walkthrough. But the art style and the dialogue, amazing, especially for its time. And the story was, for me, what was the most mind-bending of it all. Just as you're figuring it out, and you're on a foreign planet, basically, but there's all this weird technology that you discover, and all these different things happen. And I don't want to give away too much if you haven't played it, because if you haven't, you better. Yeah,
you're struggling. It's probably one of the best click adventures ever made, if not the best click adventure ever made. Probably the best click adventure ever made.
But once you do figure out a puzzle, and if you do it without a walkthrough, it's so rewarding, because they're not typical puzzles in video games. Because you're using alien technology, it's all weird.
Yeah, a lot of the puzzles in these sorts of games are like, hey, there's a pixel on this wall, you have to find it. And it's like, oh, great. There, click here, and then you can open a door.
Now, this game was really awesome because it was Steven Spielberg he directed the game story concept on it, and the
Spielberg,
voice acting in this game is amazing as well. Like the character here, he's played by Robert Patrick, who you might remember him from Terminator 2. He was the T-1000. He was in several other things, but that's what I readily remember him from.
This game was wild.
And the cutscenes in this game, when I first played this game in 1995, and I saw a cutscene in this game for the first time, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, it looks so good. It's these graphics. Even though it's pre-rendered and stuff, just for its time, it's so...
Well, the background and the lighting right now, even now, those guys...
Yeah, and people still make games to this day that look similar to this, I feel like this is one of those games that's just timeless.
I guess art direction and art style really help a lot, too, but...
I think what helped with this one when it came to the art was that, your point-and-click, referencing here, this scene, you're walking around, but the moment... And then you have the animation of those characters, but the moment you go into a cutscene...
Don't show this part.
The moment you actually go into a cutscene is, it's
about to give away some mind-bending stuff.
Yeah, don't show that part. That part definitely blew my mind.
No, what I was saying is that when you go from this, the guy's walking around talking, it's all pixel art, but then they go into the pre-rendered cutscenes, and it still kind of has that pixel art characteristics to it, even though it's a kind of rudimentary animation.
Yeah,
or these scenes
looking.
Here were
just
straight up really awesome. Yeah. CG, man. This is 1995. Awesome
And
CG
also, one of the things that I find is really amazing about this game is the sound. Like, the sound effects and the atmospheric music and everything is just amazing.
This wasn't really that mind-bending. It was kind of interesting, I suppose, at the end of the game when you figure out how the system works. It's like, oh, paradox inside a paradox inside a paradox inside a paradox inside a paradox. It's worth a mention, but yeah, it's not that crazy. It's kind of crazy, but not that crazy.
It's all the rage right now.
It is.
I think watching you play this earlier, I think my favorite part is just the menu.
Yeah, you game up. Basically, the menu is gamified as well. Like, there's some parts of the game where something will go wrong or something in the menu, and it treats you as if you're the one in the game. And so there's parts where you actually have to close the game and reopen it for the menu to be back to normal. So they turn the menu into a game too, which is a strange decision. I'm not sure if I love it because sometimes I just want to jump in and play the game, but it kicks you out of the game, and it's like, do not launch superhot.exe ever again. And you have to type, I will not launch superhot.exe, and press enter. So yeah, Superhot is kind of mind-bendy. There's many more mind-bendy games out there that have not been mentioned.
It's Zweihander, yeah.
That's going to bend your mind. It better. I mean, like, we've had a few times where we're sitting around talking about the story for the Zweihander game, and we've got a full dev team working on that right now. There's been a few times while we're sitting around talking about that, where one of us will say something, the other one will say something, and then we'll be like, oh, my head. And it's like, yes, write that down. And we're also working with Chris, who's done all the artwork for the Zweihander stuff, but he's actually written some plays before in the past, written some movies, and he's really into, he's really into history, but he's also into occult icons and that sort of thing. So he knows a lot about all that, and we're pulling a lot of that weird conspiracy stuff and putting it into the game to make it kind of crazy. So that should be fun. Remember, guys, if you head over to Bandcamp, you can grab up Zweihander, grab the whole discography. It's freaking cheap, and all that money, every penny of that goes straight toward the development of the game. So thanks a lot for that. We decided to get a little freaking ridiculous with the shirt of the month this month and try all the colors, including some tie-dye. Epic John used to be an epic tie-dye person because he's epic. So we got a couple ridiculous tie-dye shirts that they're so garish that they go back around to good again. I'm telling you guys how to think right now. So yeah, check out the shirt of the month. We'll have the link in the description. And, whichever color you grab the most of, we'll probably make a regular on the website. And if you want some other colors, let us know. We might be able to print them up. Hey, I don't see a purple one. Why is there not a purple one? Well, that's kind of bluish purple. I don't know. Just let us know. And I want to also note that every shirt, despite the pictures, is available in both men's and women's sizes. See here? All the way up to 4XLT for the big guys. And 4X for the big girls, too. So we got everything from smalls to the larges, and that really keeps us alive. So thanks for your support over on the site, and hopefully you guys enjoy the quality of the stuff over there. Get over there.
All right, so I guess the question we're going to ask for next time is, what is the game that you play, or that your go-to game to relieve stress? When you're like really stressed out, you kind of, you just want to stop and
Had a
you
rough
play this
day.
game. Yeah, you get home at the end of the night, you're like, leave me alone, I'm going to go play this.
What's the best game for stress relief? What is it? Tell me!
I know what it is.
He needs it more than you do. A lot more than you do.
I need it.
He needs it better than you do.
The most best.
All right, this is the most worst show on the internet. Thanks again to Crunchyroll for supporting this nonsense. And remember, Tech Syndicate, just go to crunchyroll.com/Tech Syndicate to get your free month, or else I'll kill you. All right, guys. Pretty much it. See you on the website.
With a banana.
The only way I like my rolls are crunchy. Not soft and squishy. Buy them. Buy them up. 4 for $1.
Spider-Man.
He's in witness protection. Jesus Christ.
Either that or is he just...
I'm a fucking shampoo commercial.
Ew.
It's so beautiful. Look at that tattoo. Look at it.